see so many of you already waiting before I even started. So welcome to our Friday live stream. And I have so many topics to talk about today, not just what's in the title. There's some other things I want to talk about. Let's see how far we get here. I don't have much time to cover because I only have half an hour to do my segment, and then you have the Q&A section after that. So welcome, my friend. So hopefully we're live now. You don't use social media. You are on social media right now. Using social media isn't the issue. The issue is your identity. But that's a different topic. That's not what we're going to talk about tonight. So just to kind of put a framework into what I talked about last week, which was McAfee. So as you know, McAfee was found dead in a jail cell in Spain last week. And this is very important because actually McAfee is pretty much in the same realm as what I do. This is what I talk about. So he talks about what I talk about. And yeah, they were, interested in extraditing him to the US for tax evasion charges. Tax evasion doesn't justify being suicided. So obviously there's something bigger in here. And I was waiting for some clue. Before I said anything, firm about whether he was suicidal like Epstein or not. I think I've been pretty clear with you guys that I don't find any possibility that Epstein actually committed suicide. That is just beyond the realm of reality, because just the probability of strange things happening at the same time with so many different things is just not plausible. And yet nobody thinks about it. Here we are, and apparently Epstein got suicided and nothing happens, and we ignore it, and we move on. And it's I guess, okay, it's no longer important. Even though, if you think about it, if somebody did suicide Epstein, then that is, very, very deep and strong criminal act that is like really, really like incredible to have done that. And now here we are with the McAfee case. And McAfee's interview with me is in the description, like I left there last week. And I myself have had contact with Janice McAfee, Mrs. McAfee, and John McAfee. As you can see, he followed me on Twitter, and I've had many a conversation with him. And then, of course, I interviewed him live. Unfortunately, the recording failed, but I got the data and I wrote it into an article, and then I shared it with McAfee himself. So, and he, the write-up that I made, the interview, was about the fact that John McAfee was, basically living like a real-life Jason Bourne. He was hiding from the government, and it was kind of demonstrating, how difficult it is to hide from the government, because the government has so much eyes and ears. If they want to get you, they want to get you. Still, that itself is not justification for getting suicided. I can't, it's not about the tax stuff. It's not about that. That does not justify getting suicided at all. But what really got to me, and what I was waiting for, was what Janice McAfee was going to say. And I guess right around the time that I did my broadcast last week, she went on the air. I think it was on Global News, and she was shown on the video with the attorney, the Spanish attorney of McAfee. So I guess she was in Spain. And then she spoke and said that she talked to McAfee that day. And he said that, I'll talk to you later tonight. and that he was not acting suicidal. Now, if you, I was looking for some clue that maybe, that maybe he was feeling really, really bad, and he would just explain that to his wife Janice, and that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. So it's totally out of context. So now we got to pay serious attention to some of these things that he posted. One of them being this comment from him when he first entered the jail, which says, "Know that if I hang myself, a la Epstein, it will be no fault of mine." So I took this for granted that this may have changed based on his feelings about in the last about the extradition possibility. But the wife said, Mrs. McAfee said, no, he was still in a fighting mood. So it didn't seem like he was going to give up. And then he actually tattooed himself with whacked to show that he might get suicided a la Epstein. And wow, it actually happened. It actually happened. So now, why? Who and why? I mean, these are now become serious questions. And who would have some reach to get into a Spanish jail and do this a la Epstein? And this has to be at the highest levels. This kind of thing isn't going to be like common stuff to make it look like a suicide. There's going to have to be many players involved deep down, just like the Epstein case. And wow, that just proves to me, and this is, I was just looking for some clue, but and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I am definitely not a conspiracy theorist, but just when you're faced with some facts in front of you, and you wonder what's true and what's not true. I talked to the guy. I mean, he's such a gentleman, and he believes in what he believes, and he was actually explaining and giving information even just a few days before about cybersecurity. He was putting that was not the sign of somebody who wanted to commit suicide. He was passing information, and it was not complete. He was starting to say, I'm going to tell you more, and he just started that, and then he gets they get the extradition notification, which was not final yet. There was still some ability to fight that in a higher court in Spain, and yet he got suicided. So now, what is the question? The question is, why then? Why now? And by whom? And I'm obviously suspicious, and he said this even to me, that he knows things. He knows things that and it was posted on Twitter actually. He knows things that the three-letter agencies wouldn't want anyone to know. So when the possibility of getting extradited happened, it means he might be able to speak in public. And whoa, they didn't want him to do that and reveal certain information when his back is against the wall. So that's a theory that he had information that if his back against the wall, he would blast it out, and some people didn't want that to be heard. Okay, and is it about not paying taxes? I don't think that's enough. I personally don't think that's enough. And the question is the dead man's switch. Yes, I see some of you asking that, and I don't know. I mean, was he careless and he didn't manage the dead man switch? Or, just like other things, like even the Snowden thing, it takes a while. It takes a bit of time for somebody to wrap their hands against any information released and publicize it in a fashion that will have the most impact. Because presumably, if you are doing a dead man switch, it will pass it on to the press. So, it's only been a week, so I don't know if he had a dead man switch. So this is really, really worrisome. But because if he committed suicide, then there would be no dead man switch. So, but I don't know if there's a dead man switch or not, and is there anything that he hasn't revealed on Twitter? Because he's pretty open. He's a pretty open guy. He's very open, and I'm like really really saddened by this because again, it not only because he represented a lot of the ideas that I represent, and not the tax stuff, but just the other stuff that he talks about. You know, this kind of indicates some level of corruption that we only watch in movies. If this is true, then you know we're at a level of corruption that's we think it's something in the movies, and most people will ignore it, will be acting like sheep and say, "Oh, who cares?" Kind of like my video on radio. Some of the comments that people made there. It's like, color me skeptical. I don't believe what you're saying. It's like I'm giving you facts and you still don't believe it. It's like I can't help you. So here it is. There's a case like this that's such a high profile, and people don't care. Well, I care, and I'm telling you, watch this. So they're gonna do an autopsy separately from what the Spanish government is doing, and they're gonna do a separate autopsy to figure out what's going on, and we shall see. And they're gonna hide stuff. This is crazy. So it's people have disappeared in the past, and in supposedly even this free country of the United States, and this is like the Khashoggi case. Some of you made that comment as well, where a government just wants to shut somebody up, and it's really, really scary and bothersome that this might happen in this world today. And we think everything's so benign. This is why I don't want to give power to people with information. That's why I don't want to give power, using your phones and your data, because I don't want them to have control over the population. If they know everything about you, then they can do stuff. They can blackmail you. They can make life difficult for you. So, for example, if you're a coroner and they have some information that can shame you, and they say, well, if you reveal that, then we'll publicize your affair because we know all that. We know what you wrote in your email such and such ago. We'll ruin your career. So you better, toe the line and don't rock the boat. Don't rock the boat. Whatever we tell you, that's the truth. That's it. Scary stuff. So I don't know. We'll watch and see with this dead man switch. But let me tell you, when I saw Mrs. McAfee, Janice McAfee, on the video, then I said, that's it. I was waiting for that. I couldn't really commit to that, waiting for her to say something. And once I saw that, I said, what the zuck? What the zuck? This is just utter craziness. So anyway, it's a crazy world. So that's something we got to keep an eye on, and we need to make sure this doesn't disappear like an Epstein. This is even more serious than an Epstein, because this is, well, I guess maybe they're not more serious, but it affects similar things, which is the possibility of somebody in power wanting to shut somebody up, and basically, hiding information from us, the people. So that's what this is. That's the kind of stuff that this is all about. When somebody wants to hide information from the people, things happen. Now, fortunately, I don't know anything. I mean, what I know is on the videos. I don't know any secrets. So it's kind of scary when you deal with stuff like this, but I myself don't know any secrets. I just know what I tell you. And if I know it, then I tell you here on YouTube. So yeah. Anyway, it is zucked up. It's zucked up, my friends. So the other thing that I want to talk about is this shocking piece of information. I am so shocked. I don't know what to say. Shocking piece of information. The shocking piece of information is that Tucker Carlson claims that the NSA is reading his emails. What the fuck? The NSA is reading Tucker Carlson's emails. Oh my gosh, I'm so shocked. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm so shocked. Right. Right. How many times have I told you? How many times have I told you in these videos? How many times have I told you that obviously the NSA has your emails? This is not a big zucking secret. This is not a secret. So in case you didn't know about the history of how they collect the emails, then I'll bring you back, because there was a Guardian article. Of course, I knew this from before. Snowden confirms this, by the way. Snowden confirms this to be true. He says, what if you show your junk on the email? Does the three-letter agency have that? Snowden says, yes. Is every conversation that I have an email with kept by the three-letter agency? Snowden says, yes. Now, this is beyond what Snowden says. I'm going to tell you just some of the realities of how this. By the way, I just noticed that the viewership count dropped precipitously when I changed topic to three-letter agencies. Oh, okay, it corrected itself now. Just suspicious. I don't know if it's a DDoS attack. Every time, even on Periscope, when I talk about three-letter agencies, I get disruptions in the broadcast. So it's like somebody wants to minimize what I say. In any case, there was an article in case you don't believe me, then you can refer to this article in the Guardian. So go to the website guardian.com and look for the article relating to peering stations and AT&T. So let me just make sure we if you want to search that article, you can. It's still there. I checked it recently, like a few months ago. It's still there. So the article says that there are peering stations. Now, what is a peering station? What it is that the internet is actually not a bunch of independent ISPs. That's not the way it works. In fact, if you base it on that, then you can't do acts like jam VPNs, which, as you know in the video in February, the someone jammed VPNs on port 1194. And, I clearly tested this and I was able to duplicate it all over the United States only. It did not exist in any other country. But in the United States, someone, obviously very powerful, at the behest of whom, I don't know, but obviously it's within the realm of government to do this, someone blocked port 1194, which is the VPN port number. They've since released that block, so that the block happened over a period of about 3 days, and I was tracking that block, and basically it shut down any VPN that was using port 1194, which obviously we had a way around that. So by the third day, when we discovered what it was, because I did not know it was about port 1194, I switched it to a different port number. So VPNs not using port 1194 were okay. VPNs that were using port 1194 were blocked from using VPNs on the internet. So you can use any port for the VPN. You can use any. So once you know that, then that attack is no longer useful. So they can't do the 1194 attack anymore. It's not going to work. The point is, somebody in a central place did that, and the best place for doing these kinds of things is in this peering station. So the internet actually funnels into peering stations. So let's say you're on Spectrum, Charter, whoever your Verizon, whoever your ISP is. what happens is the traffic for these guys get funneled into trunk areas, and those trunk areas are called peering stations. And the point of peering stations is that you don't want Verizon and T-Mobile and Spectrum and Charter, etc., to create separate networks to crisscross the country. That would be kind of a waste of resources. So what they do is they share into a central area, and the central area is called a peering station. And back then, when the article was written several years ago, there were 8 peering stations that the traffic accumulated in. So there's one in LA, one in San Francisco, there's one in Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta, New York. How many was that? So what did I miss? Probably someplace else in the Northeast. I lost count of how many I said. Let me say it again. So LA, San Francisco, Dallas, Chicago, Atlanta, New York, and there were 2 more. So wherever those 2 were, I can't remember right now. So there were 2 more. That's in that article on The Guardian. Okay, Oklahoma? How do you know? So anyway, the peering stations actually had a way to filter the traffic. So AT&T is the peering station. So I often guess which company was actually doing this filtering. Which company? Where were they centralizing? I blamed level 3, all these big fiber optic trucks, because I didn't know where it was being done. And then the Guardian from research said it was being done by AT&T. So AT&T has all these secret rooms in these 8 locations that I told you, where nobody knows what's in there, and where if you have to do work on them, there's a guard watching you, and the guard is from the 3-letter agency. Now, is this true, what I'm telling you? Well, one of you actually is one of those telecommunications engineers that were doing this, and I don't think he's in here right now, but he actually told me that, and he himself, he no longer does this. He retired. He does something else now, but he told me that experience where he goes into these rooms to handle the multiplexers and all these little things that they got to do, all the hardware, and it's a very controlled environment, and they got to go in there and be watched to make sure they don't manipulate whatever it is they put in. And what's apparently being put in is these little devices that can actually filter the traffic. So as your traffic goes through, it picks and chooses and then routes a copy. So the traffic goes on to wherever it's going to go. So it doesn't disrupt the flow, but it then takes a copy of whatever it wants to copy, and it doesn't have to be so fast because it's just a copy. So they take a copy, let the traffic go forward. And what they're doing is filtering, and they had a filter list. Somebody actually sent me that filter list of words that they look for, and it's, yes, one of the filter words is my title. That's why I don't usually like to put the title of the 3-letter agency. I just say National Zucking Agency, Zucking IA, the Zucking BI, because I don't want these algorithms to work. Yeah, so yeah, they're watching me right now, but McAfee itself, that title will get them anyway. So anyway, that actually this is not this is an independent journalist team that did the research here, not just me, and they have in fact determined that yes, that the 3-letter agency does take trunks of traffic, a ton of it, and it's redirected based on certain filter words, based on location, based on any foreign contact, and that goes to the Utah data center. In case you don't know what the Utah data center is, that's one of the existing facilities for the 3-letter agency in question. They're building, I believe, 4 of those. So there's one right now. They're building at least 3 more. and I forget how many billion they spent on computers for the initial buildup of the, just think about how many servers they put on there. Was I forget how many billions. Was it 4 billion bucks worth of computers? Just computers alone, and storage to store all of your ducking data, everything. So your email then flows, and I told you that it's very easy to capture your email. I have many videos on that. So it's very easy to capture your email. They're making it a little bit harder now to capture email, but a lot of it's still captured. And the the email is captured in plain text, and it's obvious that when people says, "Does anyone have a copy of Hillary's emails?" And there's no doubt they have a copy of that. Oh, come on. There's no doubt they have a copy of it. The peering stations prove that. Anything that crosses the internet would go out on port 25, easily readable, especially during the time of Hillary. That would have been common technology. They're doing more encryption now, but it was hardly present back then. It is a certainty that somebody captured that on the airwaves and put that somewhere. It is a certainty. It's just the way things have worked all this time. So just like they had a prison program capturing every voice, every recording, every conversation, not the actual voice, but the traffic that they got from the various telephone carriers. Yes, I am certain they had the actual emails. This is why I'm very cautious about emails. If you're going to send an email, make sure you understand that not only could have been read by Apple, Google, and whoever else, but of course the government, and whatever government you're in. If you're not in the United States, of course that government is doing that. Somebody would say, "Well, I'm in Saudi Arabia." Yes, one of my viewers here selling that technology to Saudi Arabia. That's his job. He has a YouTube channel. That's his job, to sell that technology to Saudi Arabia. And then there are companies that already provide this kind of mechanism, and one of those companies is Blue Coat Systems, previously owned by Symantec, one of the most evil companies in the world, probably the most evil tech company. But they split up. It's now owned by Broadcom, that division. It's the only thing left with the original Symantec is just the LifeLock and the antivirus, which neither of which you should buy. They're both crap. Don't ever buy a Symantec antivirus or LifeLock. That's a waste of money, and it's crap, and it's a scam, and they're not going to protect you. That's the most evil company. That's a different topic. The most evil company. I got some death threats, not death threat, but I got some threats because I talked about the company when they were still like big. But Blue Coat Systems sells this technology to spy on you. All the stuff that I'm talking about, how to override an HTTPS certificate, all that technology they did, and they sold that to countries like Saudi Arabia and Syria and so on. And various Latin American countries and whatever. And this is the kind of stuff that we say, "Oh, we don't really care, you're a paranoid guy," and this and that. It's like, at what point did the people say, "Hey, we do have something to worry about here"? So I don't usually, just to make it clear, I don't usually talk about government related issues here on my channel. I usually don't. Because it's kind of a losing battle. I don't have any power to change anything, and it's nothing I can tell you will make any difference to preventing three-letter agencies from spying on us. I'm sure they're spying on me right now, and I'm kind of helpless. But at least what I know is what I'm telling you here. So if I know it, it goes out on the video. So I don't have to hide any secrets because there's no secret. So I'm just here like a press reporter. I'm not doing any secret technology things because I no longer do that. I'm just here trying to report to you. So anyway, this kind of stuff that, where somebody like Tucker Carlson is like all so shocked that the NSA reads his email is actually hilarious, because Obama, when this was discovered by Snowden back when, they asked Obama, are the three-letter agencies? Obviously he didn't word it like that. The questioner didn't word it like that. Of course, I'm wording it as three-letter agencies. The three-letter agencies. Do the three-letter agencies surveil us and spy American citizens? Obviously, they spy on foreign people. That's within their mission. That's their mission, to spy on foreign people. But to spy on Americans, that's not their mission. But are they doing that? And Obama says, no, they're not doing that. He is lying. This is what politicians do, and not just Obama, Bush, all of them. They're all the same. Okay, this is what McAfee was talking about. It's all the same. You see, this is the excuse that Obama made. He could say, "Well, I wasn't lying. I wasn't lying. Here's the fact, guys. Here's the fact, and you should know this. Obviously, these three-letter agencies, both the one that starts with a C and the one that starts with the N." They actually duplicated, during the Obama administration, they actually created duplicate organization. So the one that started with an N was the old one, and then the one that started with a C, that used to be the Zucking IA, which used to be based on people, feet on the ground kind of spying. They don't do feet on the ground now. They do the same thing as the National Zucking Agency. So now there's duplicated, and guess who organized the duplication? So now there are two organizations spying on all of us. Two, not one. And this is just in this country, not counting other countries. In this country, there are two. And it was Obama who created enlarged the Zucking IA and made it a bigger organization. Bush, of course, did the Patriot Act and all that even started all this. But it was Obama who actually created the duplicate. So now we got two of them, and the only reason we knew that was from WikiLeaks. And on WikiLeaks, it turns out that that one side is kind of, if you consider both deep state, one is, more leans towards the left, and one leans towards the right. Who knows? So they're actually, it sounds like, just from what I see on WikiLeaks, it sounds like, they're like competing organizations. So in any case, so this happens, and we ignore it. We say, oh, no big deal. It's like, this guy's just, this Rob Braxman guy is just paranoid, whatever, conspiracy theorist, so we don't even want to pay attention. And I tell you that, one of the ways that you can fight back, in fact, the only way you can fight back, is to withhold information. By having less information, less identity, less ways to track you, having multiple identities on your social media accounts, email, phone numbers, all of this, make it difficult to track. Yes, you can still be tracked. If you're, if you're a real terrorist, you can still be tracked. But it prevents mass surveillance, which is the only thing I'm really concerned about. You can still track terrorists, but mass surveillance is the excuse. It's the excuse for mass surveillance is that all of us are potential terrorists. Every single one of us is a potential terrorist. That's the theory of the Patriot Act. Such stupid stuff. So we're not going to give you freedom. We're not going to give you any freedom. We're going to spy on all of you. Obama's answer is, no, we're not spying on you because, and this is the actual explanation, the three-letter agencies collects all the data, right? They collect everything, every email, every phone call, all of that. They even have a prison program. All Snowden revealed all of this. And they collect all this data and put it into the giant database at the Utah Data Center. It is not specific. They capture every piece of data. They capture everything, the entire internet. They're like a Wayback Machine on steroids. They capture every event on the internet and have backups of it. And even if it's encrypted, they can go back in time and break that encryption. There's a way to do that, kind of slowly, but you can do it with a quantum computer. So if they really want to find something, they can, even in the past. Now, what I'm trying to tell you here is that the rule at the this is in the Snowden video, the Snowden movie, if you want to go back to that and see what I'm talking about. What they do to justify that, they say, well, we're not spying on you, is they say that every agent of the three-letter agency needs to document why they're spying on a U.S. citizen, even though they were caught. They were caught actually spying on girlfriends, boyfriends, enemies, neighbors, whatever. So agents were using that information for personal gain, and this was in the Snowden movie as well. They were doing that. So Snowden was revealing that this kind of thing was going on. And the argument as far as why we're supposed to not be spied on is because they have to document every time they go to. They have like a Google search. It was actually on a book. I forget the name now of the website, but you can actually. I went to it. I didn't have the security password, but I actually found the Google equivalent of the three-letter agencies. So they have a Google search kind of thing where they can search for your emails and everything else. They have that, and I actually got to the entry point of that many years ago, and they probably blocked it from access to the internet now. They probably put a VPN of some sort before you can, or private VPN before you can even access that portal. But they have an equivalent for that, and I would imagine Google built it for them. It's actually like a Google. So it's a Google search engine inside the three-letter agency. So I imagine Google built that. In any case, the idea is as long as they don't search for you specifically without permission, then they're not spying with mass surveillance. Except the justification for anyone spying on anyone is very simple. It's called, what is it? Levels of separation. So in the Snowden movie, it's how many levels of separation do you have from the target. So all they have to do is designate a target. So in the example in the video on Snowden movie, Snowden gave this example. The example was a Saudi banker. So they said, okay, who's who's associated or had done business or knows the Saudi banker? So they have the circle based on internet activity. They know who that first level, that's the first degree of separation. Okay? Then they say, okay, this group, the second group, the first degree now, who do they know? Now you got a larger circle of people who have no connection necessarily to the Saudi businessman. And then they go to the third level of separation. By the way, by the time you get to the third level of separation, I believe that's already in the millions of people. I think by the time you get to 5 levels of separation, you may have the entire country. So I mean, they can justify anything. They can justify anything. Say, oh, we're researching this, Saudi banker. This is what was in the Snowden movie. So if you're quick and pick up on that, then you understand what I'm talking about. That this is not a joke. This is actually happening. So I don't really talk in my broadcast about Snowden-related things or McAfee-related things as much because they relate to the government, and I seldom have this topic. I only do it in a few live streams, and then I'll pause again. I'm just upset right now because of the McAfee event, because obviously this was triggered by something major, and it's really bothersome. Okay, really bothersome. So and it's kind of scary too, because I'm in the same line of work. This is what I do, same line of work, and if somebody like McAfee reveals things and then he gets suicided, obviously it's a concern for anyone like me who tells people how things are done. I can make enemies from the Googles and the Facebooks and all those people that I know are taking advantage of you, and none of you care. Anyway, let me just change topic here. I'm out of time on that topic, but I'm going to tell you something briefly here. First of all, before I do that, and welcome, sorry for taking up so much time, I wanted to tell you about my sponsor, Linode. Linode has been my sponsor since a year ago now, I believe. So I myself use Linode. It's my internet. It's my cloud service provider. I use servers on Linode, and I've dealt with many ISPs, and Linode is probably my main ISP, and I have a lot of servers with Linode. And I have never found a company that's so responsive and so understanding and so helpful with really excellent tech support, and they don't play any tricks on billing. For example, if you, let's say you go to Amazon AWS and you rent a server, and they say, okay, you can rent a server for, you know, $15 a month, let's say. Then they have all these hidden charges. By the time you look at your final bill, you say, what happened here? And then you notice that your prices doubled or tripled, and it's like, what's going on? That's the kind of stuff that you will find on Amazon AWS, not on Linode. It's so simple. When you deal with them, whatever they say includes the bandwidth. It includes incoming and outgoing bandwidth. It's just clear. There's just no mysteries to it. And you can rent servers as cheap as $5 a month. So if you ever want to try out servers and try out especially Linux servers, and even to play with it, you can play with their servers for $5 a month for once per server. And if you use it only part of the time, let's say you're only going to run it for a couple of days, I mean, that's hardly anything. So if you do the linode.com/Rob Braxman, they'll give you a $100 credit that you can use over a period of 2 months. So some people said that wasn't working, and that was rechecked, and that still works. So if you didn't make it work last time, you can try it again. It works fine. So thank you for listening about Linode. Now let me tell you another story. So as you know, I have another channel. I have a sailing channel. It's on the top of the channel, my other channels. It's a sailing channel and a music channel. And last night we had a jam session. I posted some music on the other channel. So if you want to see me play music, or playing music in a few videos that I posted last night and this morning. And it's interesting that everyone in my group, they're all CTOs or they're all techies. And one of the guys happens to be a CTO for an advertising company, meaning the guys that do browser fingerprinting and tracking you over the internet. That's what he does. So anyway, so he told me something that's very interesting, and he said that Apple is going to do things to hide your IP address and your email. So when you sign into social media, they're going to automatically change your email and change your IP address as seen by the other entity, and to protect your privacy. So, you know, this friend of mine is, you know, he's very Apple oriented. He has a lot of Apple products, and he's not concerned about privacy at all. He's in the tech business. He's the one, like I said, doing the business of collecting your data. That's what he does. He collects your data. So he's on the other side. Okay, but you know, we know each other from music for many years. In any case, let me tell you the flaw with that. So if you see somebody like that, that Apple is protecting your privacy by hiding your email, and Google is going to do the same thing with the flock thing. They're going to hide IP addresses. So if your IP address your IP address is no longer going to be passed by the browser, it's going to fake it. But it's not really going to fake it. What it's going to do is make a record of your old IP address, put it in the Google database, make a record of your old IP address in the Apple database, replace it with an alternate one provided by Apple and Google. Same with the email that Apple's supposedly doing. You give them the email, they know your real email, and they replace it with an alternate email, perhaps one-time use, and that's what they send to the browser. Okay, do you see anything wrong with what I just said? Because some of you will say, oh my gosh, that's so great. You know, Apple's really concerned about us. Google's really concerned about us. That's fantastic. Do you see a flaw in all this? So let me just you know, make it more obvious for you if you don't get it. Okay. Who loses if you do not see the IP address, if you do not see the correct email? Who loses? Well, who loses is my friend's company that does the tracking. Yeah, they lose because they don't have exact information. They have to find some other way of matching you using some sort of browser fingerprinting, which they are denied now by some limitation being set by Google. Okay. So this is the same thing with DNS. This is kind of it's almost like a conspiracy if you think about it. What's happening, guys, is that Google is centralizing the information and keeping it away from everybody else. So they can't browser fingerprint you. Only Google can using FLoC, Federated Learning of Cohorts. Google centralized the information so that an outside advertising company can't get the data, but Google can. Google will know your IP address because they have the matching IP address to the new alternate IP address kept in their Zucking database. So they know everything about you, including your current Gmail and all the alternate IP addresses. They know IP address and all that. They know the device fingerprint. So who actually is hiding whatever? Because some people are saying, oh, then you don't need a VPN anymore. You don't need a VPN anymore because Google's taking care of us. Suck. So all the VPN companies are supposed to get worried. I'm going to tell you right now, you do not need to get worried. This is the stupidest concept I have ever heard. You have now centralized and willingly given all that information to Google to do all that. Yes, if I'm going to give that information to Google, I will still use the VPN so that Google only has the IP address of the VPN as it comes up with an alternate IP address. So they still have nothing. This is the kind of crazy environment that, you know, people just misinterpret that. They don't understand how technology works. They really don't. They just get the buzzwords and they think they understand exactly how it benefits them. And you really don't. You got to get somebody who's a privacy expert like me to tell you that it is a trick, just like DNS. So they said, oh, we want to encrypt your DNS. We want to encrypt your DNS. So we created this HTTPS TLS encrypted DNS so that you don't reveal your DNS to your ISP. So the ISP no longer are supposed to see your DNS activity. But instead, you forward your DNS information to Google, bypassing your VPN. Do you understand what happens when you use the Google private DNS, which is on your Android phone? If you use that zucking thing, you are passing your actual IP address and device information directly to Google, bypassing the VPNs, and that goes on a different pathway. It goes on a different route. So now, yes, your ISP doesn't know anything about your DNS queries, but Google does. So this is the kind of stuff that, you know, and somebody will say, well, I use Cloudflare. Oh, yeah, right. Or what about 99% of the population? They will leave that alone and set it to automatic, and which is on your Android phone. So do not turn on private zucking DNS. Do not. Disable that. If you have a VPN, the VPN will aggregate the IP address. So many people will have the same IP address doing the DNS query, which is useless information. Useless. You can't derive any data when there's a mass of people with the same IP address. So the DNS no longer works. In my case, on my VPN, the DNS queries goes to my VPN through my Pi-hole server. So actually, it's cached in a Pi-hole server, which filters out the ad companies. It blocks the ad companies and only forwards any new queries. So it doesn't even, because it's cached. All of you are, if you're going to google.com, only one of you will actually go to google.com. The rest, Pi-hole will only requested from google.com once, the rest of you will not even register as doing a DNS query. So that's one of the benefits of my VPN when you do that. So I believe I'm the only one that does that. I'm the only VPN that does that. Just like I'm the only VPN that offers Tor as a part of the service. So in any case, yeah, so when these companies like Apple and Google say, well, they're doing things for your privacy, take it with a grain of salt. It is not true. It is not true. They're lying again. They're lying again, just like this radio stuff. Now, I'm not talking about the radio in my new video because I want to do a follow-up video on that, because I am so disgusted with some of the comments that I'm getting of people who still question. I already laid out the facts about the radio video, and they're like, "Oh, I am skeptical. Color me skeptical." Comments like that, or like BLE doesn't have that range. What are you talking about? The RFIDs don't work that way. It's like these people are like, before you're gonna comment, you ought to understand. You ought to watch the entire video first, because if you don't really understand it, then your comment doesn't mean anything. So the sheep are responding, and they look at my video as being fear mongering. I'm going to tell you right now, my video on radio was slowly building up. I'm going to give you a little history here. It first started out, I made a comment. I made a video about Apple AirTag, so I started researching Apple AirTag, and that then brought me to the shocking discovery that Amazon Sidewalk was going to get turned on. On June 8th, Amazon Sidewalk got turned on, and I made a video that week. I just found out that the next video, which I called Skynet, then this video that I just released is even more shocking, because I found out that the radio is part of the system on a chip that is in every IoT Zucking device, including your TV sets. So we don't even know what's going on. So let me just tell you this little story, because it's not on the video. Let me just tell you this little story. Okay? I actually was talking to my friends at a field day, ham radio field day, and one of the guys, one of the ham radio guys, works for one of the networks, one of the TV stations. I forget which. One of the LA TV station, one of the big ones. So it's one of the three networks. I can't remember if he works for CBS, NBC, or ABC. I cannot remember right this moment. One of those. And he was the one who said, not directly to me, but to the guy organizing the field day. He said that they are now putting together the TVs that they do broadcast HD now, and the TVs will now talk back to the TV station. And this just coincided with what I learned about mesh networks and what they were actually doing. So as it turns out, this is not theoretical. They were actually planning this already. My gosh, I mean, the kind of stuff I discover, I mean, some of you know stuff, you let me know, because this is the kind of stuff I did not know about. I just discovered this in the last couple of months myself. I was not in this area of research, and I actually didn't know about this stuff with mesh networks. Some of this was fairly new. Like I said, the Bluetooth BLE or Bluetooth mesh network standard wasn't even 1.0. Version 1.0 was released in October, and then a 1.1 was released in December. So it's so brand new. People are just reading the damn thing. And now here we are, and the actual TV station is planning on already receiving the data from your TV, and people are saying, you're a fearmonger, whatever. And it's like, suck. This is the TV station telling you they're going to collect that data. They'll be able to collect Nielsen ratings without the internet. And people are saying, "Oh, well, that's so stupid. Bluetooth only has a short range." It's like, did you not read what I said about mesh networks, where messages are forwarded from the TV, perhaps to another TV, perhaps to a light bulb, to a ring camera, to whatever. It doesn't matter what the device is. All they need is the same chip that has the same kind of hardware. And apparently, this are being sold as SoC, system on a chip. So they're actually built in. They don't even have to do anything. The hardware for the chip is there. Now, I have experience with these chips. I buy them as discrete chips. I've been playing with 900 megahertz and 433 megahertz. I have on my alarm system that I built that I was selling last year. And it's on there. I actually put the chip in there myself because I intended to communicate from one alarm system to the other. So I myself have experience doing that, and I understand there's a FSK encoder, decoder built into that chip. I know all that digitizes the signal. Apparently that same technology, Zigbee, is being used in Mars. Somebody left that comment on the video that they're using that same technology for Mars because they're able to digitize a radio signal so you can communicate at the device level with digital data instead of worrying about voice. So they are doing this, and somebody said, "Oh, you're such a fearmonger," and it's like, oh my gosh, everything I'm telling you right now, is true. It's even everything I've said, even about the three-letter agencies, about McAfee and all this, and it's like, at what point do we say, "Oh yeah, this we need to fight back. We need to speak up." But we can't just say, "Oh, well, we agree. Thank you, Paul. Wow, Paul, that's very generous of you. Thank you." And thank you to the others who've given on the super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So this is really very concerning that we let people, the sheep, dictate them saying to us, "Oh, I don't care about that. I don't care about being spied on. I have nothing to hide." I mean, at what point do this can go on and on and on. Eventually your government is being run by Hitler, and you say, "I have nothing to hide." At what point do you say enough? Do you need another North Korean dictator? I mean, at what point do you say, "Well, wait a minute, why are we giving him this data?" Oh my gosh! So anyway, this is just really, really bothersome that we have this experience, and then I'm showing you everything that is happening, and people are reacting like, "Oh, this guy is a conspiracy theorist and this and that." Guys, I am not a conspiracy theorist. There are things I don't repeat. I didn't tell you that that his son was in the condo that collapsed in Florida, and that he had secret trove of data on there, and that caused the collapse. And no. That Janice McAfee mentioned that in a tweet. She did not. So I'm not telling you stuff like that because there's no data for that. Curtis Reynolds, thank you. That is so kind of you. Thank you. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm one of the few voices on here, on the internet, that show my face at my risk to do this for you. The hated one doesn't show his face when he does the videos. I show my face to you. So, I'm not giving you a production. I'm just telling it to you as it is, with what's real. So that's a difference perhaps with some of these channels. I'm trying to dig into the detail and give it to you straight up with a lot of detail, more detail than the other channels, so that you can make a judgment for yourself whether or not I'm BSing you. Am I BSing you? You can tell, hopefully. But I am truly not. I am not. Thank you, Paul Carroll. My goodness, you guys are just being so supportive. That is so appreciated. You just don't know how that's appreciated. You can also support me on Patreon. You can do it one time or a little bit every month. We need all the help we can get to support this channel. I got to run this with people. I got to pay employees to make this work. So your help is very, very appreciated. And as you know, I sell products on my store, VPNs. And if you're wondering about my VPN, just not really a plug, but the truth about my VPN, absolutely no logging, because I use it myself. I wouldn't want to get logged. There is no logging whatsoever. It's international. We have it in multiple locations, and I'm adding more locations. As I get more traffic, then I'm able to expand. And there's a lot of servers now. And thirdly, it has Tor. So I have a Tor gateway. So if you have a device that doesn't normally run with Tor, you can actually Torify it just like a VPN. But the VPN actually connects to Tor, so it exits on Tor. And then I'm running the ad blocker called Pi-hole, which aggregates your DNS. So in one end, not only does it aggregate your DNS, it actually makes your DNS queries disappear at the other end. So it's kind of unusual on the VPN services. The other thing is that because this is a small VPN company, and I exclude certain types of people from the VPN. I don't want them on my VPN because it just targets us, and I don't want people who use BitTorrent. I don't want people on If you're going to use BitTorrent, don't go to my VPN. Go to Nord, go to PIA, go to one of these other ones. I don't need a business. If you're going to use BitTorrent, I don't need that. I don't need that aggravation. I don't need that business, and it brings attention to us. It makes the IP address be noted, and then I got to go sort that out, and they actually track your activities, because the guys that you're downloading from are actually working for the copyright holder. So people say, well, I love BitTorrent. Well, BitTorrent's not like before. It's they're actually baiting you. So the people who are actually allowing you to download are baiting you with content, and the people downloading are actually the copyright holders. And they're going to say, who did I download from? I'm going to track your IP address, and you're going to be zocked. Okay? So I don't, if you're going to steal movies, I don't recommend that. I don't do that. So it's that kind of dangerous stuff for privacy reasons. It's very dangerous for privacy. So just go to Netflix and Spotify and whatever, and don't steal stuff, because it's just bad for privacy. Okay. Wow, I talked a lot here. So I talked for a full hour instead of 30 minutes. I talked for a full hour. So hopefully, you got a sense of so many things I had to say today. So hopefully you got a sense of some of that. Let me see if I missed anything here. Older versions of uTorrent are okay. Stay away from the new version. How do you know? If they feed you, if they download from you, they record your IP address, timestamp, and then they do a legal demand on me as the VPN provider, saying we need to find out who was on your system at X and X time, or we will sue you. I mean, then I get all the FBI kind of copyright violation knows stuff and whatever, and it's just dangerous stuff. So yeah. So if you're going to use BitTorrent, go to PIA and Nord, and that's what they're for. I want clean people on here. Why? Because the VPN, if it's not obvious, we don't want spammers, we don't want troublemakers, then we're kind of stealthy. Aside from the fact that we do all those other things that I mentioned, it's a stealthy VPN. So it's not, we don't stand out. And I change IP addresses all the time. We don't stand out. Rob is a simple man. Yes, I am. Actually, I am. I'm not, I'm pretty much, as you see, I'm not that complicated. Not that complicated. What would you win in a fight against Susan W? Is that a WWF fight? I'm too old for that. This keeps pausing. What keeps pausing? Signal's okay. Thank you, Cherry Lane. Thank you, James Mason. Let's see. Ironic that the word stealth is related to the word steal. Interesting. Do you communicate with Steve Gibson? I do not communicate with Steve Gibson, but Steve Gibson and I are, he's obviously kind of the same realm. He, I'm sure, knows the same stuff I do. We've been in the same kind of tech world for probably the same amount of time. Steve Gibson is just in hardware more, whereas I was more in software. So, just different angles to the same thing. So yeah. So now Steve Gibson isn't very far from me. He's in Orange County somewhere. So he's not very far away. He's probably an hour away from here. And I do subscribe to their channel, Security Now. In fact, back when I said, oh, someday I'll be as big as that channel with Steve Gibson's channel, because they've been on YouTube for ages. They've probably been on YouTube for a decade. And I said, someday I'll be as big as that channel. And then, then I passed them, and that's like I'm 10 times bigger now. So 10 times bigger than their channel. And yeah, but I subscribe to that channel. So it's called Security Now. So if you want to get information on actual hacking threats, they give good information. My problem with Leo Laporte and Steve Gibson on that channel is that they're what's the word I was looking for? They sold out. They'll never talk negatively about Facebook, Google, or anything. Not like I do, because they make money from the sponsorships. They're basically a sponsorship-based channel from the tech companies. So they don't want to say anything negative about the tech companies, because that's how they make the money. So if you sell out, see, that's why I don't take advertising hardly, because I'm not, guys. If you support me directly, as you are doing, buying my products and supporting on Patreon and Super Chat and so on, what happens is that I don't have to rely on advertising from third parties, just like the Security Now channel with Leo Laporte and Steve Gibson has to do, because that's how they make their living. I don't have to do that, so I can say any bad thing I want if they deserve it. Some companies I don't speak as badly of because they haven't done anything. And you expect that I should say something negative about every company just because they're in tech. Notice I don't really say much about Tesla. Because I have no evidence that they're in the business of screwing us. I haven't seen it yet. So, because it doesn't seem like that's their model, then then I have nothing negative to say, because there's no proof that that's their line of work. So I haven't said anything negative about Starlink, because I have no evidence that that poses any kind of danger yet. So if we get more information, then we'll find out. But at the moment, even if I use Starlink, I'd be on a VPN anyway, so it doesn't matter. I would never use Starlink by itself. I mean, I'd be Starlinked with a VPN. So therefore, if you're in a VPN or VPN router, then Starlink doesn't see your data anyway, because you're encrypted. Thank you, V. Thank you. Is that V? Thank you. Why is there no Braxme on F-Droid? F-Droid has specific requirements. You have to compile it on their platform, and the language I used is not the same. You have to give it to them in is it Java? I think you have to give it to him in Java. And since I didn't write it like that, then I can't send it to F-Droid without rewriting. And it's open source anyway, so it's the same thing. So Braxme is open source, so you can just look at the source code. F-Droid means not only is it open source, but I have to write the shell in Java, and then F-Droid has to compile it for you. Well, that does not really give me much benefit because Braxme is a web app. So most of it is on the server anyway, which is open source, but it's not on the stuff that goes to the F-Droids or the App Store. That's just a shell. When you go to the App Store and download Braxme, you're just getting the shell interface that just gives notifications. There's actually nothing there. It's not much different than typing brax.me on a browser. So alternatively, you can do that and you don't need a star. Okay, so anyway, that's why it's not an F-Droid. It basically means I got to work on it to put it on F-Droid. And at the moment, I don't have that time. Since I'm not doing any programming anymore, as you guys know, you guys are keeping me busy doing research for this channel, so I have not had time to do any programming. You guys are like all mad at Elon. Well, Elon's partner was Peter Thiel, which is Palantir. You know, they were partners on. I'm not sure if they liked each other, but they were partners on PayPal, and then Peter Thiel formed Palantir, and then was one of the initial investors on Facebook. And Elon Musk went on his own, and then started, doing Tesla. So Peter Thiel is, his intents are obviously pretty evil, just like Bill Gates. They want to spy on us. That's just like Facebook. They're interested in spying on us is we don't deserve that kind of privacy. That we ought to get spied on if we want any kind of security. So that's what those three believe: Peter Thiel, Bill Gates, Zuckerberg. Elon hasn't said anything of that nature. I haven't heard him give that kind of opinion. He seems to be concerned enough about privacy on a Tesla, so that's what I've been getting. So because of that, I haven't really had reason to focus on Tesla. He bought Tesla. I don't know how that started. The hellhole for I have one bank account. Off-world slave. Elon doesn't like BTC. Oh yeah, he pumped BTC, then changed his mind. Then changed his mind again. So yeah, still waiting for it to go to $10. What, BTC? That's another subject that I can't talk about because YouTube doesn't like us to talk about crypto. I don't understand why. So a lot of crypto channels have been banned from YouTube. So that's why I'm trying to limit, the topics I talk to you about so that I don't get deplatformed here. I'm very, focused on what I say, and I think very closely about what I say and what I allow myself to say and what's considered dangerous. So this kind of topic, this video right now, is one of the riskier videos I'm doing here because I'm attacking everywhere. Thank you, Powell. Thank you so much. So this video here is definitely one of the riskier ones. Maybe I have to delete it. I don't know. We'll see. I may have to delete this video. We'll let it sit for a bit, but maybe I won't keep this video for too long because it's kind of dangerous. So, okay, we'll let it sit for a little bit. We'll see. But I just want to make sure enough of you, my existing subscribers, can see it, and then we may have to delete it. So we used to do that when I talk about three-letter agencies on my old platform Periscope. If I talked about that topic, then I delete it after. So that's The kind of world we live in, it's a free country, right? You can speak freely, right? IPv6 doesn't need home router, right? Correct. It's on my video. What else is the question? Yes, delete, bro. Leave it up on Odyssey. This is not on Odyssey. Live streams do not go to Odyssey. Live streams use a different methodology. It's not on Odyssey. And this is dangerous enough. It can be dangerous on Odyssey as well. It's not about YouTube here. It's about who's going to watch this. So this is dangerous for, people targeting me, because I attack quite a few people in here. Not people. I attack quite a few entities here, and so it's a dangerous topic. That's worrisome. Oh my gosh, my good friend. I want peace and safety. How? You still don't know what I'm saying after all these years? That's worrisome? I mean, after all these years? Like 7 years? You've been watching me for 7 years or so, and you're like, you still don't understand what I'm talking about? We've entered this danger zone. Let's see. Google is taking on the role that IBM did in the... did you get your COVID? Can't let China win the... Oh, there was somebody left a comment on my video. Like idiots. Like some of these idiots, really. This guy left a comment in my video. I can't believe that non-white races can understand topics like mesh networks and radio and what else did he say? What did I say on that? Just the technology for radio frequencies. So I can't believe non-white people can go figure this out. It's like, I don't know. I don't really react to that. I don't take it. I don't take it personally, but it's really stupid. Okay, so it's really stupid. So it's like I guess certain. So we don't as non-white people don't have the ability to go learn stuff because what, we're so dumb. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's just interesting that I got that comment on my YouTube video. So anyway, when in the danger zone, one must dance a safety dance. You can dance if you want. You can leave your friends behind. At best, banks and governments don't want us talking about cryptos because it's hard to tax transactions. Crypto will kill the banks. If let's say 50% of transactions happen in crypto, that is 50% of 7 or 8% that they make over every single transaction in the world. So everything we do in life, the banks make between 7 to 8% profit of every transaction we do in the world. So can you imagine if transactions happened on crypto, then half those transactions will disappear. That's bad for business. And of course the government will protect the banks because it's like they supported them during the crash in 2007, so they'll do it again. Yeah, right. So anyway, but the biggest issue with crypto is that it's better for privacy. That's the reality. Again, one more reason to delete this video, because they don't want me to say that. They don't want me to say that. Bitcoin's often getting the infrastructure by major back. It won't go away. What's the most efficient way to donate? You can donate directly to my PayPal account, or you can do it on Patreon. Yeah, so you can do it directly to PayPal. But Patreon is, the cut isn't very big. So from Patreon, Google's cut is very big. Although I got notice that they're reducing that cut, but the cut that Google takes is very, very big. Like from Super Chat, it's a very, very big cut. Gov doesn't like privacy. Yes, of course. I saw some WikiLeaks revelations that really blow my mind. The main things, yeah, WikiLeaks always post here. WikiLeaks is a activist in India, so you'll see him make comments on my videos, and he's an activist in India. So he's not really about the privacy side of it as much as, making aware of the fact that because he is an activist, he gets cyber attacked all the time. So that's what he talks about. He's always getting cyber attacked because he is dealing with powerful people. And that's, kind of like a McAfee case, Powerful people want to shut you up in whatever way. They'll suicide you or whatever way they're going to do it. So, and they also believe the need to go be done, whatever that means. I thank God I live in the cornfields of Indiana. 13 downvotes. Oh. Normally I get, on average, on every video, on every live stream, I lose about 15 to 50 subscribers. That's every live stream. I lose between 15 to 50 subscribers per live stream. The McAfee video I did last Friday, I think only lost 4, which is unusual. So how many subscribers do I lose? So 13 dislikes, that would be in sync. If those 13 dislikes, then unsubscribe. If you don't believe in what I say, you should unsubscribe. There's no reason for you to, I don't need you to subscribe to me if you aren't going to pay attention. So, subscriptions is just a fake number. It doesn't, it's good for show, but you have to speak up and do actually something about it. And if you're just here to harass or troll and you don't really believe in this, then you really shouldn't follow me. There's no reason to do that. So yeah, so I don't encourage you to follow me if that is not this is not part of your belief system. You got my back, Lemonborn. I became a patron member. Thank you, Chasing Klaus. Oh, that's so kind of you. You've given so much tonight. Thank you so much. So, yeah, I'm running out of time. I only got a few more minutes, but just to close it out. I was talking continuously all this time, and I didn't give you much Q&A time, but I had a lot to say and stuff that doesn't really fit into the video format. So it's more about just telling you just little details that I'm not able to say in a precise video. So anyway, I have 2 channels, just two additional channels, which shows up on my channel. One of them is my sailing project channel. Now, what is my sailing project channel? It's called Off-Grid Sailing Project. So Rob's Off-Grid Sailing Project. So that channel is about anything to do with sailing and anything off-grid. So my boat has solar, and I do things in fixing the boat. I just installed an air conditioner, which is not off-grid, but I did it anyway because I wanted to do that before I installed a water maker. Because if you have a water maker, then the boat is really independent. It can, with solar and water, then you can stay off grid for many months. So I don't have a water maker yet, but I had to install the air conditioner first because the hardware, it had to fall in there. So that's my sailing project channel. If you're interested in seeing that, I also am going to put my ham radio stuff on that channel. So I did a field day. So because I do the ham radio on the boat, so that's going to be part of that channel, the off-grid part. So the sailing project is not just about sailing. It has to do with everything prepping related, because my boat is basically an off-grid capable uh, vessel. Then I have my other channel, which is music, and that has nothing to do with anything. It's just I'm a musician. I'm a jazz pianist. A bad one, but you can listen and say, oh, he's really bad. You can leave a comment and say how bad I am. So that's on my channel, Rob Braxman Jazz. And I just posted some new ones, and I have a lot more to post. And that's also one of my channels, so you can follow me on that one if you want, or just watch, or watch me play piano. And most of the stuff I put there are band things, but maybe I'll do some solo piano as well. So that's on that channel. So hopefully you and entertain yourself. It's not all about serious stuff. You can entertain yourself as well. Those channels are more for entertainment. They're not so heavy. Somebody said I'm more relaxed on those channels. Yes, because the topics are not so deep. So anyway, this I do the stuff I do is very, very deep, and it's kind of stressful. So and it's very hard to come up. I don't know how the video I just did on radio hidden radios is my #1 video ever, as far as per day, as far as how quickly it went up off the charts. It's going off the charts right now, so it's like unbelievable how strong that video is. And the problem is I don't know what I can talk about that can beat that, because that is like an incredible discovery. It is an incredible discovery. Hello, Kathy. Kathy, good to see you. Make sure you follow me on that channel, Kathy. So yeah, incredible discovery. I don't know, I can't come up with some things like that. There's many things I want to talk about that's more about teaching you some basics. And if I do that, then nobody watches those. So I got to mix it up. But I can't beat the popularity of that. That was an incredibly successful video. In-car camera, mic, what? Is Android Auto capable of spreading malware like a compromised Android phone? Android Auto is capable of listening to your voice and recording you and doing the same things that Alexa can. So yes, you should worry about Android Auto. I would never put Android Auto on my car. No fucking way. Should we buy him a mic? What is wrong with my mic? I have a very expensive mic. Are you saying my mic is not working? I mean, this is a very expensive mic. Check my mic gain. Well, yeah, I have it not so. I don't have it as close like that. I could leave it close, but I didn't want to show it on the video, because people are going to say, "Oh, you have a cat there. It's a dead cat." So I'm trying to keep it away from view. So I angled it so you don't see it. Okay. So yeah, so that's the reason. Yeah. Otherwise, I can make it quite loud. Your mic sounds fine. Thank you. Okay. So some of these comments. Kurzweil's Google is warped. Yeah, possibly. I've followed Kurzweil over the years, but boy, what is he working on? His ideas are, out there. Your mic's good. Gain is or was cool already. Dead cat bounce. Sounds fine to you. Okay, great. Okay, so anyway, yeah, this is an expensive mic. This is not one of those cheapo mics. So the one I use in the videos also, it's an expensive mic. I got to go Rainmaker over and out. Rob is legit search engine is what? Uh, I haven't really, compared search engines, so I don't have enough data to tell you. If it's not Google, it's better than Google. So whatever it is. So Brave has a new one. So uh, don't know if it's kind of like Start Page or like DuckDuckGo, because those are two different styles. And I'm okay with both of them, but they're different styles of doing search. I mean, the style, the DuckDuckGo style, which is their own database, and Start Page, which is a front end to Google. They're both okay with me because Start Page hides your identity. DuckDuckGo is more of a direct competitor to Google because it actually searches elsewhere, not Google. Start Page searches Google. I don't know what Brave does yet. So anyway, and somebody's saying, DuckDuckGo is not safe. This that, yeah. Compared to Google, it's so fine. Okay, so I mean, uh, people complain that they're doing advertising. That is not the same thing. It's not identity based. So Brave is pretty good. At least it's not Google. Yeah. So I don't know. You guys can use Brave and Brave search engine. You tell me. And if I have enough information, I'll if there's anything interesting, I'll make a video about it. Okay, guys. So I'm out of time. And I hope you have a good time this July 4th. In the United States, of course, it's Independence Day. So on Sunday, we will have fireworks over here where I am. And yeah, so we can see that close up. Maybe I wonder if I can take a video of that. Like really, really close up. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you next week with video and live stream. Videos are Thursdays mornings, 9 a.m. Pacific time, and then live streams are Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you for watching. Good night. Bye-bye.